I got a question. Should devotees plan for retirement? Should they plan their finances? The reason I ask this question is because it can be seen as you're planning too much or you're gambling by thinking of investing.
But not every investment is a gamble. So that was my original concept of investment is gambling. But I've grown to understand, which he might actually explain a lot more logically. Not every investment is a gamble.
That makes sense. But like, okay, the reason I'm bringing this up is growing with the movement.
Yes, I fully agree.
You know what I'm going with? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like the connotation I've heard, mostly leave it to Krishna. And if you plan too much, then you're trying to control, like you're trying to become the doer.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's important to address that once
Yes.
before we,
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Like, what is the origin of question? Like, you think that by investing and planning for retirement, you're becoming the controller, and Krishna is the controller. So why are you trying to control things, right?
Yeah.
Right. But you get to work every day. You can leave the work also and leave Krishna handle it. You eat food every day. You can just do chanting.
No, but the rebuttal to that is you're supposed to do your duty, but leave the results to Krishna.
That's what the investment is. Yeah.
No, but you're doing your job,
Yes.
and then you come back and you take care of your living expenses, but then the rest is up to you. You can make the argument, leave the rest to Krishna.
Right. So let's say you're going from here to New Vrindavan, right? You follow the speed rules. So you drive on the right side of the lane.
Yeah.
Speed you will live, whether it's a storm coming or coming, right?
Yeah.
You're following a rule. Similarly, the investing is like you earning money, spending money, investing it. It's a simple rule. You're not gambling every day, checking phone, investing, buying stock market, trading every day. That is gambling. That is saying the control in your hand. Follow the process.
So talking to like a financial advisor and saying, hey, I want to retire by the age of whatever, how should I go about it? Is essentially following the rules.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to control.
Right. Like you go to gym, you follow the gym advisor. I want to reduce 10 pounds, or I want to look this, or I want to look like that. That is a coach. Similarly, for school, there is a teacher. For finance, there is a financial advisor.
Devil's advocate, go.
Yeah, I'm not following you guys at all.
There we go.
So what is your position? First state
Well,
that.
Krishna Smarna Prabhu, if you remember him,
do.
I think he I think he talked about gambling one time. I'm trying to recall a lecture where he was defining what is gambling. Gambling is where you like do something and you're not sure of the outcome or something along those lines. And if you think of gambling in these terms, then pretty much everything we do other than devotional service or whatever the scriptures say, it's gambling. So investing in the stock market, doing trainer stuff, following anything other than the scriptures is gambling.
Wait, so even like training with a trainer is gambling?
I mean, maybe there's scriptural protocols for keeping the body healthy, so maybe following the scriptures when, I don't know, yoga, they probably have various other recommendations for
like you're saying you can
physical
find a
health.
loophole for that, you're saying?
No, that's a scriptural thing you do. You keep the body and soul healthy, and then the Vedas, they talk about, okay, here's what you do to keep the body healthy. And then regarding wealth, the Vedas talks about what is wealth, land, cows. So there's probably protocols in there for earning wealth, making money from a Vedic perspective that generally involves some agriculture, land-based products, probably following the four varnas in some way. If you're trying to not gamble and you're trying to accumulate wealth, there's scriptural ways to do it. And then there's modern ways, which who knows what they're based on. They're not scriptural.
I have an issue with saying modern ways are not scriptural.
Did the stock market exist in Vrindavan 5,000 years ago?
There are a lot of things that didn't exist in Vrindavan 5,000 years ago, which we are still doing.
I know.
Yeah.
So we're gambling.
So we're doing all this now. Everything cannot be a gambling. We are reading science fiction is what 5,000 years ago nobody was reading it. And you talk about varnashrama. So then you talk about it in detail. You read that every varnashrama have different rules or different things for like Kshatriya, Vaishya, right? And we had career dharma classes where it was mentioned like field of activity you can relate, and then what is the right way for right person individual, right? like if you are an artistry versus you are an Vaishya, so you can be a businessman versus you are in the firefighting or Kshatriya that way. So
Let me entertain that for 1 second. Like the other extreme I look at of this is, without taking names, there's disciples of Prabhupada who didn't really think about money or invest in money, but are having financial troubles now. I think
Heavy financial troubles.
heavy, right? You're saying, yeah. And there's contemporary examples, by the way, that also have financial troubles because they didn't plan for finances.
And there are also Srila Prabhupada's disciples who have planned, and they don't have financial troubles right now. And so in both of those, we are in no way questioning their stature in performing devotional service. Both are at the same level with respect to the services that they have done to Srila Prabhupada. But at this age, one is in a much more stabler position to continue doing what they are doing compared to the other devotees who didn't plan the future.
So there's two ways to see that. One is that those people who are doing whatever the modern experts say you should
not
do.
the modern. It was always there. Like the financial management, Artha Shastra is the financial management. Artha Shastra comes from Vedic times. Even during Mahaprabhu's times, not everybody were Goswamis. He had very specific devotees who he has suggested that your duty is just to earn, so that when the whole Bengal group is coming to Puri, you are the one who is sponsoring them, paying the taxes. I forgot the name. Paying the taxes, making sure that they get prasadam, to and fro trips, everything. They were able to do it because they had financial management structure and they had the capacity. So Mahaprabhu in his dealings was making sure that he was employing each and every individual according to their propensity.
Okay, well, but we're talking about making money here. Like,
yeah, I mean, they were making money.
So we're talking, the example you gave was someone who already has money.
No, I mean, nobody will have money and just sit idle and then the money will take care. They were consciously working all through the year so they could utilize that profits and whatever money they were getting. Shivananda Sen. His name is Shivananda Sen. You can look
And how did he get his money and what was he doing?
He was a businessman, was doing a lot of other things.
Was this correct?
Yeah, he was
describe,
normal
like,
grihastha.
How he did it? Was he investing in?
I mean, Chaitanya Charitamrita is not a historical record of what he does.
But my point is that we don't know. We know that he was wealthy.
He was wealthy and he was conscious of managing his finances.
But we don't. But is there any details given about how he's managing his finances?
It will not be, definitely not be there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but I'm sure there are other books which I don't have access to are there. Artha Shastra is a very specific section of Vedic literature that talks about.
I'm not familiar with this Artha Shastra.
Yeah,
we in ISKCON, I don't think we study that.
Yeah, so and also Bhagavatam is not the book to quote when you're talking about dharma. Like there is a series of talks that Haripashat Prabhu gave on this beyond Bhoga and Tyaga. In that he talks about dharma, artha and kama, and then moksha, and then prema. Srimad Bhagavatam is the book that is not even talking about moksha. It is talking about prema.
You listened to the whole series?
I thought the whole series and I got the ticket because I was 17 years old. And then I was listening.
How long is that?
Each class is at least 2 hours.
You listened to the whole thing? I need to listen to that. That's really good.
So I'm saying that taking the standard of prema, which is what Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us, and applying that to dharma, artha, kama is injustice to Srimad Bhagavatam.
Well, we can. Okay, then maybe, here in ISKCON, we get all kinds of financial advice from Prabhupada. And we're understanding the Vedas through Prabhupada, and Prabhupada has said all kinds of things about how we should take care of the economic problems in society. And his solution was farm communities.
His solution was simple living, high thinking, and one of the answers of simple living, high thinking was farm community.
And he was envisioning that most people in ISKCON would be living in.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
My understanding was that Prabhupada thought that modern cities were unsustainable and that people would be flocking to ISKCON farm communities. They would be exiting the cities because they're going to be these hellish places that are, modern monstrosities that are not sustainable. And that people would, and that the whole idea was that we want to establish all these farm communities around the world, and that then we would show the world this is how the economy should be run. This is the right way of doing things, the Vedic way of doing things. And then people would be flocking to the Hare Krishna farms. Is that not your understanding of Prabhupada's teachings?
He wanted, my understanding, I might be fully wrong, my understanding is he wanted the farm community as an example of simple living, high thinking, where people can come and realize how simple living and high thinking can be done. And then some of them might be able to continue in the farms, but the others will be able to go back into cities and continue those living. And then the centers and temples in the cities were a place where they could still continue to live their life, but have this access to perform devotional service in the local centers and temples that they had.
The top-down approach, like what I understand. If we apply bottom-up, the same approach would not work.
Do you know anyone currently in our sphere of friends or community who is now planning for their finances?
I don't think so. There are seminars and classes held right now in temples.
For finances?
Yeah, finance.
But we never heard that growing up. I never heard him growing up.
Yeah, growing up,
It's a
yes,
recent thing you're saying.
maybe in last 10, 15 years.
I
Like Kishore Kishori arranged for a financial management seminar.
really
Yeah, during COVID.
never.
There is one Prabhu in Bergen County. He is very good advisor. He took online videos classes. Very nice. On one basics for devotee, finance for devotee. In his YouTube videos, he explained what is gambling and what is not.
Never heard it.
Oh, he's very good.
So there is also this Anand Vrindavan Prabhu. I think Anand Vrindavan.
There are a lot of classes. There are.
So Anand Vrindavan Prabhu he's a stock market. He has a firm where he manages mutual funds and everything for a lot of devotees. So my essential point is, just because you're planning to manage your finances that directly contradicts the 4 regulative principles is a wrong understanding. There are ways that you can manage your finances and break the regulative principles. Yes, but just because you're managing your finances means you're breaking your regulative principles? No.
I guess it depend on how in line you are with
Yes.
the Vedic
Yes,
teachings.
you have to.
I heard that in India, because the temples receive so much money that they have to invest it.
Yeah.
That's what I think the Juhu or whatever, one of them I heard, which is the opposite of America, obviously.
What is your reservation like? You think
But
what is against what is against anybody's?
Can I articulate his I think his point of view is?
Be clear, this is not my point of view. I'm not trying to tell you what I think.
No.
This is the thing. This is the opinion that was told to you.
I'm trying to say, here's the Hare Krishna opinion,
No.
regardless of what I think. I'm not saying I agree with it. This is one of my doubts.
I think it's it's interpretation of what you're reading in the scripture, as opposed to it being that by itself.
Prabhupada's, Prabhupada's teachings about this topic.
But he himself had managed money
Yeah, to the point of pennies.
to grow the movement. He had to.
Yeah, but was he investing in the stock market?
Forget about the stock market. Investing is right or not, that's the stock.
Yeah. See, right now the world has come to a point where investing means stock market. We're no longer living in 30s and 40s where you have other options of investing other than stock market.
Was an option back then, right?
Buying a land, yes, it is possible.
Wasn't buying properties the biggest type of investment back then?
Well, what are you doing with the land?
You're letting it grow in over time.
What did Prabhupada buy land just to let it grow? Did he buy land with the idea that I'm going to turn this?
So did we move from the topic of investing to what type of investing?
No, it's clear. No, so Prabhupada was let's. I mean, he was serving as the founder of Acharya. He was serving as spiritual guru, but he was also serving as like someone who was teaching everybody how to live life in all different facets, how to make money. Maybe I'm sure there's teachings there about that. And the stock market was a thing back in the 70s.
Yeah, it is a thing. Yeah, it is a thing. Yes.
It's more accessible now.
It was accessible back then too.
You can go to Robinhood right now and execute a trade. You could not.
You could go to a broker. Go to any. There's banks everywhere. You can.
Back in the days, the people are familiar with the buying land versus stocks. Now people are familiar with this. So people have been familiar with that. Right now, we are familiar with the stock market. Tomorrow, 3 generations down, they will buy NFTs, cryptos. They will be familiar. They say, who buys stock market?
One thing that I can certainly say is, in India, previously, investing in stock was much more riskier option than investing in land.
100%.
100%.
In our generation, investing in land is a lot more riskier than investing.
Yeah.
There is absolutely.
So we can talk about all these things. They may be true, but they're not what the point is.
So the point is also what he's saying. We are just talking about the concept of investment. And then comes the idea of where you're doing, how you're doing. Are you then in line with the Shastric understanding, all of that. We are jumping from just the concept of investing to when we are saying yes to investment, then we are concluding that we are saying yes to investing only in stock market. Those are two different distinct topics.
I think the question is started, is the investing good?
Yeah.
Planning for your retirement good, right?
I mean, I wasn't even asking investments. I was asking, is the idea of planning
Yes, even the planning, right?
So we can answer that question from our own perspectives, and that's fine. We can have our own perspectives about it. But I think he was particularly asking about from a Prabhupada's perspective, from a devotional perspective, from a Vedic perspective, how do we answer that question? And you guys keep talking about all these things that I haven't heard like one quote from from any scriptures or Prabhupada said this, or no references about investing or anything. I'm only hearing your ideas about what you think is good for investing, which is fine. We can talk about that, but I don't think that's what he was asking about, and that's not necessarily what we're talking.
If you have to code, it requires preparation. None of us are prepared for kind of.
So, well, maybe we could grok it right now. Grok is pretty good at that. Okay, so let's. Okay, so what do we want to know?
Is it improper to plan your finances from Hare Krishna perspective?
Okay, so here's some quotes that Grok spit out about investing. Prabhupada in in Bhagavatam purport. Again, this is all Grok, so we got to double check all this. But apparently, Canto 1, Chapter 5, 32 purport. If one is a businessman, an industrialist, an agriculturalist, etc., then one should spend his hard-earned money for the cause of the Lord. Think always that the money which is accumulated is the wealth of the Lord. Wealth is considered to be the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, and the Lord is Narayan, or the husband of Lakshmi. Try to encourage Lakshmi in the service of Lord Narayan and be happy. That is the way to realize the Lord in every sphere of life. So this supports the idea of engaging in economic activities. I think that's fine. Engaging in economic activities is supported. Question is, what do you do with the money? Yeah. So this sentence is saying we should use the money in Krishna service.
Yes.
50% is recommended.
So the question is putting the money in a stock market, using the money in Krishna service?
One of the points that Vamshi Bihari, or what was his name? Yeah, so he started off. I might be rephrasing. In one of his initial talks, he was quoting Bhakticharu Maharaj, where he said the primary essence why Bhakticharu Maharaj, I think he's a disciple of Bhakticharu Maharaj, was encouraging most of the devotees is to be financially conscious. Is at Vanaprastha, whenever you take Vanaprastha and you come and are doing services in temple, you're not relying on temple for taking care of you. You're financially well-to-do and are able to manage your own expenses and your health expenses on your own, and you're just assisting and serving temple. But at this point, when I'm 30, 35, there's also a possibility that I can use that as an excuse, saying that when I'm 60, I want to be well-to-do, so I can go and serve in temple and do whatever I want to do. But when I reach 60, I might not do it. That is also there. So how honest you are with what you are promising to do and what you will do is up to you. Nobody can come and question saying that, hey, at 60 at 35 you promised this, at 60 you're not doing it. It's up to you.
See your promise to yourself.
Yeah, because again, going back to one of the very big major discussions right now in a lot of temples is temples by itself are not very well to do. Majority of the temples, very few temples across the world are financially so stable, and then we encourage a lot of devotees to dedicate their lives in their youth and commit to the movement. When they are 60s, are the temples equipped enough to manage them, where they might not be even able to step out of the temple? And then similar to the whole concept of Goshala, as a movement, what are we doing? Are we just milking the cows, and when they are no longer at a stage where they're giving milk, do we just slaughter them? Or how, as an institution also, what is our long-term investment plan of taking care of this set of devotees? So that's a conversation which is also happening in a much bigger places, and the answers to that question is also investing. But where do you
invest? How do you invest?
Yeah.
So Prabhupada frequently referenced Rupa Goswami, who divided his accumulated wealth upon retirement, 50% for Krishna service, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, 25% for family, and 25% kept for emergencies. So this is presented as a model for householders.
Sorry, he was a single person.
No, for grihastha here. That's what I was talking, like 50%.
No, but Rupa Goswami did not have kids.
No, this model is for grihastha.
Relatives. So 50% he just donated.
Yeah.
25% he gave to his relatives. 25% he kept for emergency purpose.
I know, but I'm saying that he didn't have kids or people to manage, so he could do that.
No, this rule is for grihastha. Recommended rule for
Yeah, that's what he's saying. So his question is, if I'm have $100, $50 I'm giving it to temple, $25. I think that relatives includes kids,
Oh, okay.
family and relatives.
I'm just saying that, like, was it easier for him to do so because he didn't have this whatever breakdown he has? Was it easier because he didn't have kids and family to manage? This is discussed. That's why I'm bringing this up.
when we were reading this during one of the book discussions, like when we were. So I asked 50%, Prabhu. I was like, 50, who gives this? And I asked question like, is it before tax or after tax? Jokingly. So then he said that 50% giving to temple meaning you live your life Krishna consciously, let's say. So make sure that you utilize those 50% if you are raising your kids Krishna consciously, right? Then you are putting in their education, their upbringing Krishna consciously.
So it goes in the 50% bucket then. You're saying.
Yeah, that is. And
See, there are a lot of discussions that can happen which might appear as opportunistic.
Yeah.
But then,
You can twist it, you're saying.
yeah, but then also one more caveat is the breakdown that Rupa Goswami did was when he was renouncing the kingdom and going and meeting Mahaprabhu. What did Rupa Goswami actually do when he was the prime minister and the chief minister? That is not written anywhere. So yes, Rupa Goswami has set the standard for 50% and all of that, and Prabhupada in multiple places does that. But what did Rupa Goswami do when he was actually doing
Like, do you think Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who had, 13 kids?
Yeah.
I don't know how many kids. Was he shoving 50% of the income to temple? I don't
He
know.
didn't have temple. So how was he able to print books?
He must have used his own money.
I mean, he was sending them to Canada and UK. So yeah, so those discussions we cannot dismiss them.
So here's another Prabhupada on grihastha finances. This is a letter. Grihasthas should not slave to accumulate money and unnecessarily increase their material comforts. And if extra money comes on its own without our, big endeavor for it, they should use it for Krishna consciousness. To this end, grihasthas may keep their money confidentially so that in time they can spend it for good purposes. There is no fault in this, or in keeping a deposit in the bank for an emergency.
This kind of addresses the Atihara principle, right?
So when I hear this, whatever the lowest risk thing is.
And you should also consider what was the interest rate banks were giving in 1960s. I don't know.
So, but the whole point is, it seems like it's very clear that we should not try to accumulate a lot of
over-endeavoring
money.
is never suggested. Yeah,
right.
He talks a lot in Noy also in the concept of over-endeavoring.
Right.
Like
And
over-endeavoring.
I get the sense that it
That's the part that's not followed. You feel like
who's doing this? Who's not trying to accumulate a bunch of money these days?
Just read the sentence again.
Which part? The whole thing?
Yeah.
Grihasthas should not slave to accumulate money and not necessarily increase their material comforts.
Yep, slave. So he is not stopping grihasthas from working and then earning money and then doing whatever is required or that. Is living your day and then accumulating comforts that are not needed.
Okay, I'm going to see if Prabhupada has said anything about
you
devotees
should say one.
engaging in the modern day workforce.
He didn't stop Ambarish Prabhu from living in his house. And in fact, one of his proudest moments was when Ambarish Prabhu, so back then Henry Ford, and then the opponent of Henry Ford was the Labour Party chief. And both of their grandchildren became devotees. The Labour Party granddaughter was also in Detroit, and Ambarish Prabhu was also in Detroit. One of his proudest moments, it is actually written in Radha Damodar Vilas, is one of his proudest moments was when both of them were getting married. So he said, this is what Krishna consciousness can provide you, where these two grandparents were always fighting, but the grandchildren were able to come together. But he didn't stop either of them from kind of doing what they were. In fact, he encouraged, like the Fisher Mansion temple was sponsored by both of them. So he didn't say that this is over comfortable money and
Well, that example, he already had a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada was probably just, I don't know, helping him, Vedically or scripturally use that money in Krishna's service.
Yes.
I'm talking about the accumulation part of it. So you're giving an example of someone who
See,
already had a bunch of money.
So you say that, let's say if I give you 1 million right now, today, you just keep it in your house and don't work at all. You think that you can sustain for your life?
I'm not. Are you asking me my opinion? I'm trying to get what.
No, even see, just my problem is a rich person, because Prabhupada was accommodating a rich person, thinking that the rich person earned money, and the moment they met Prabhupada, they stopped earning money is wrong in my opinion.
You know,
They were continuing working.
you know, one thing is, there's like what you should do and what you should not do. In general, in Krishna consciousness, for everything. Like for lust, you can say you should not engage in, not just that, even like attraction for the opposite sex or eye contact, whatever. I don't know, 100 things you could say.
Yeah.
And one of the points that Hare Prasad was making, you guys went to Nagari, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys sit in that class?
Which class? I don't know.
Anyway, one of the points.
Beyond Prabhupada is different. Yeah.
That's different. Anyway, one of the things he says is just practice devotional service instead of focusing on what not to do.
Yeah.
Like instead of like trying to. So like when I think of this, I'm not saying that ignore what Prabhupada is saying, but like just focus on becoming close to Krishna. And maybe that will guide you in terms of what you should not do, rather than trying to dress.
You're quoting the verse from Bhagavatam, Kama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharati, tivrena bhakti yogena.
Yeah.
So you just perform devotional service tivrena to the best of your capabilities, and then akama sarva kama moksha kama dharati.
This class that he gave was a very, in my opinion, a bit of a controversial class on the topic of lust. It was a very like I thought he almost gave like a free pass, if I were to say that.
While coming back, like the same podcast, same YouTube, 6-7 hours, 5 series, Beyond Bhoga Karma.
Yeah,
that's different. You're not talking, because in that also he talked about all the all the bhoga. Yeah. In ISKCON we never talk about bhoga. Right? We talk about karma, and it's looked down upon. Like if you say I want to earn money, people will judge you or something. Like we talked about, like let's say you have you have a feeling that I'm not pride, I don't have pride, then how the pride comes and kill you right there. Like
Whether this is Prabhupada's POV or not, my strong take is that devotees should plan their finances, plan for their financial well-being. I know no one is personally debating that, but that is like I'm a strong proponent of that.
Yeah, I think most people would be. I think that's a very common sense thing. Since you were asking from a devotee's perspective here, it's a different lens through which you have to see it. We could talk about our own opinions about these things, which I want to do. There's a lot of things I disagree with the Hare Krishna philosophy about, and this is one of my big doubts.
I'll be the first person to disagree with.
But I want to know what it is. What is it actually?
I'd want to hear the debate of this from the old school Prabhupada disciples, I think, because we're just interpreting from what we're reading on the book.